one, go.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, we are here for another Wednesday evening in lovely New York. I am Mark Mendoza. In fact, I am Mark Mendoza. The show is 22 Now. The network is Area 22 Productions. And tonight, I have a very good friend of mine. You know, I always say it's a special guest, but he's not special. He just happens to be a friend.
I am special. What are you talking about?
It's special ed, that's what you are. In any case, I have a very good friend on tonight with me and another bass player, a very good bass player, great musician, and a very good friend. I want to welcome to 22 Now, Russell Pzütto.
Just give me 1 second.
You know, the phone, right?
There we go.
It's not part of the show.
I was sending out a tweet.
So we're trying to figure out, Russell wants to get on, and, you know, and my engineer, Steven, is trying to explain to him about the share button. And he's thinking it's Sonny and Cher.
Wasn't it?
No, S-H-A-R-E, Russell.
Okay.
The share button.
Oh,
And this way everybody can share with you. Anyway, everybody, welcome Russell Pzütto. Russ, we've known each other a long time.
Yeah.
You know, we trade equipment. I borrow stuff from you. You borrow stuff from me. You know, we help each other out constantly. So, not bass players in competition, but bass players at friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hence why we were, instead of face-to-face, bass-to-bass tonight.
That's it. We should have brought them.
Tons and tons of history here.
Yeah.
Russ has a colorful past in the music industry and a colorful future in the music industry and a colorful presence right now in the music industry. He's doing a lot of stuff. A lot of things going on. It's really tough to start someplace and talk about the funny stuff that went on, not including you trying to figure out how to share Facebook with the people you don't know.
You know, all the years of tacking for you, I mean, I got to admit, like, I was probably having a heart attack like maybe 3 minutes before you went on.
Really?
I just wanted to make sure everything worked.
It's a rough gig.
Yeah, I don't care how many times I checked it. I was like...
Yeah, the only reason Dwayne didn't panic is because he's brain dead.
Yeah, basically.
So, like I said, there's an extensive history here, and there's a lot we can go over and a lot of funny stories. Currently, Russell he's a member in one of his own band.
Yep, Reverence.
He's not the only member, but it's a band called Reverence that is going to be playing right here in New York in Amityville this Saturday night at Evolution.
Revolution.
Yeah, I got to remember to get that straight.
Revolution.
Thank you for correcting
I keep calling the band Revolution.
Exactly.
Because it's famous.
Anyway, Reverence at Revolution this Saturday night.
Yes.
Should be a great show. Unfortunately, I cannot make it. I have my own show that I have to be at.
You know.
But I always
You
try
were
to
there
support.
last year, though.
Yes, I always try to support everything you do.
You do.
You're a great friend. You have a great band, and also currently with my good friend and bandmate Dee Snider.
Dee Snider.
You're playing with Dee Snider on his solo projects.
Yep.
And Dee says nothing good about you whatsoever.
I'm sure
I don't understand why he still has you in the band. He doesn't say anything good about you. No, he does. But you know, the comedy is abound. It's nonstop. So we're going to talk about Reverence.
Would be funny if it didn't hurt.
Right, exactly. We'll talk about Reverence, and we'll talk about Dee Snider, and we'll talk about a ton of funny stories that went on the road. I'm trying to write all the stuff. Russell and I were speaking before we went on the air here, and I'm trying to write down so much stuff and ideas. And although I was there for a lot of it, I don't know. I just don't remember. There's so much of it. And we had Joe Gerber on only a few weeks ago, and we discussed.
His name.
Yeah, right. You know Joe Gerber also. Well, and the stories were hilarious with Joe, with the things that he remembers or the things that he actually witnessed.
Yeah.
So some of the stuff he wasn't there for, you were there for.
Yeah, he's tough. His moped couldn't make
it. The histories in band. How long did you work with Twisted Sister?
Well, on and off. I mean, mostly like consecutive, like for like 5 years, and towards the end. But I started with you when you guys first went back out.
Right, we first went.
When you guys got back together, you really didn't have everything like a bass text or guitar text and everything. So I said, hey, Let me go out on the road with
That's
you.
not what happened. What happens is that nobody wants to work for me. So I ended up with people like Dwayne Lozada and Russell Pzütto as bass techs. All right? Because, listen, Russell's a great bass player. He's not much of a bass tech.
Hey.
He is, but he's a great bass player.
Look,
and did I not always say to you, you shouldn't be a tech, you should be a player?
You did, every day.
Russell's a player,
That's
a bass
true.
player. Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't know it was because it was screwing things up, though.
Exactly. Between you and Dwayne, I can't believe that it actually worked.
Yeah, well, it took Dwayne a long time to realize he was hooking up bass equipment and not guitar equipment.
That's Russell for you. I mean, that's Dwayne for you.
Okay.
Late day for me, early day for me. But you're playing with Reverence, right? And that's a great band. And you're playing with D.
Yes.
What's the next D. Snyder show going on? What are you doing with D?
The next thing that's happening is in Malta, which is at the end of May. From that, we're going to probably jump from different country to country in Europe.
Do you have any clue where Malta is?
I do.
Are you sure?
I did. I just looked it up before I got
It's not
here.
a Malthead. It's Malta. It's a country.
It's a small island.
It's a small island.
And there's Maltese people there. Was that where the Maltese Falcon came from?
That's where the Maltese dog came from.
The Maltese dog, the
Exactly,
Falcon.
the Maltese Falcon. This is going very well so far. But anyway, you guys, are you going back to Europe then after Malta?
Yeah, there's a whole slew of dates that's happening.
And that's
there.
coming up this summer.
Yes.
All right,
Yeah, we're going to like Barcelona again and
In Spain?
Yeah, Spain.
Great. So, all you SMFs out there, don't forget to go see the D. Snyder shows
Yeah.
with my good friend Russell Pzütto playing, and you can watch him ruin everything,
Yeah.
including the equipment.
I could do it.
Is Dwayne going with you guys?
He's going out on some of the stage shows that we have.
You have my condolences and sympathy to bring it.
He just was with us with for the cruise.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah, yeah.
What did he screw up?
Everything.
Everything.
What didn't he screw up is what he
Didn't he
said.
screw up? Like, not what did he? What
He put
did
bass strings on the guitar.
Did he
put,
really?
Yeah, no.
I can't tell you what he's done to my equipment. Yeah, absolutely.
I've seen.
There was a really bad one before you were there. We were touring. I got to get this in because I don't think I've ever told the story, because this is one of the few times it really made me angry at him, and it's tough to be mad at him. I love the guy like a brother, but we're touring. I want to say, I think it was England. It's only 7 or 8 years ago, and the opening, and I think we're touring with Alice Cooper, and the opening band was Hanoi Rocks.
Okay.
A good band, good bunch of guys.
Yes.
So Dwayne decides for some reason that he's going to change my strings during all the band's sound checking, and he leaves it sitting without strings on a road case. Right? So the vibration, so what happens? So one of the screws on the bridge vibrates out, and the bridge pieces go all over the place. But we found everything except for the screw. And you can't just go to a hardware store and
No,
get
that's
like the threaded
Right.
screw for the bridge piece, the actual saddle that moves that you do an intonation with. Most
Right.
people don't understand that. So it's not a common thread on a G&L bass. So he tries to break it to me and hide it from me, but not even by moving the bass.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why has that been sitting there for the last hour? Well, I kind of lost the piece. It's like, what? I kind of lost the screw. And the guys in Hanoi Rocks and the crews, everybody's looking for this screw everywhere.
Oh, my God.
Can't find it.
This
Now,
is
I only
big.
carry 2 basses on the road,
Yeah.
so that puts one out of commission. We didn't find the screw right away. We didn't. We made something work, but we didn't find that screw right away.
You didn't find the screw at all?
No, I got new screws.
Oh, okay.
I got new screws. But so that made me angry, because why are you doing this on the stage while everybody's working and these things could happen?
Right.
Take the basses and the guitars backstage where you have a quiet room and you can work on stuff.
Sure.
And I don't know why he's changing strings, because I never asked him to.
Yeah. Well, I know
like,
that.
In TS, I don't like new strings.
No.
So it got down to that point. He goes, well, I thought you'd like it. Well, you know something? You don't know how to think, and you're certainly not paid to think.
You don't know how to think.
Yeah, exactly. Why are you changing strings on the stage?
You don't have the thinking capacity to think.
No, you don't have the thinking capacity to think. So
Yes.
that's what happened. And that was one time that I really got mad at him and fired him. And he kind of left the show.
I heard about
He left-
firing.
Right. He left the show. I told him to get out. I was going to kill him.
Yeah.
So, it still feels bad to yell at him, man. He's like a little puppy that screws up.
Right,
yell
right.
at a little puppy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he puts his tail between his legs and he puts his head down and he walks out.
And I think that's around the time he called me.
Yeah.
And said, I got a gig for you.
Yeah, right. Right. He called you. He said, "Yeah, I just got fired and I'm quitting and I'm not going back."
That's right. That's right.
So it was actually when people thought I was being funny by yelling at him, and I tried not to do it in public, but he kept trying to defend his stupidity.
Right.
So, Dwayne, get off the stage, man. Leave the base, walk away. Just leave it. I'll take care of it. But no, leave it. Since when is an instrument sitting there without strings on it for hours? You got to keep tension on the neck. But that's not Dwayne. So, well, that is Dwayne. I'm sorry, that is Dwayne.
Yeah.
So anyway, what is this? What is this bit here where we were talking about a tour bus flat?
We were on.
I think that was just the crew.
It was just a crew. We were taking a tour bus. You guys were flying the other day.
This is in Europe someplace.
This is in Europe. I'm pretty sure it was Sweden. We had to. First of all, the whole ride was a disaster because we had to stop at a customs booth. Okay, and it just came back to me too. It's pretty funny. Everybody had to wake up, and we're all tired and everything, like scratching our heads. Rick was with us, Big Rick,
right?
And everybody. Johnny was with us, and
Johnny Fredrickson.
Yeah,
Johnny Fredrickson.
We were all there, and Danny was. He said, "Listen, guys, we got to get up. Just go in this place and show the passport." But the officer who was to see everything told everyone to go. And this is typical of the crew, told everyone to go here. So where do we all go? Over here. So we're waiting there for like a good 10 minutes, we're like still sleeping, and finally Danny says, "Come to the front, the officer's up there." So as we walk up there, we're waiting, the officer realizes we're back here. He comes back here and waits for us. So this went on for about a half hour. We kept swapping like groups until finally we met in the middle, and he's just, I think it was Germany, because I remember, and the guy was like, "Stop it right now, I want everybody to go back, what are you doing?" So we all did that. We showed our passports, got on the bus, and then we went on to the night.
And you got a flat tire?
This is also the time when something happened in France.
What happened in France?
The truck, I think, went through the crowds or something. We were playing in France.
Oh, yeah, the terrorist.
Well, we were playing in a different part of France.
We were
so we were all kind of like nervous, like what's going on. So we all heard the tire blow up and it went like that. So everybody's scared now, like what the hell is that? And we got a flat. But we had to pull on the side of the road. You can't obviously drive, and we couldn't leave until an officer came to guide us to where we had to go, and we stood on the side of the road for probably, 4 hours. Like we fell asleep, woke up, and we were still there, and everything. And then finally, the police came, and they gave us an escort to the nearest service station. So there's this bus going on the side of the road.
So much for that tire.
Yeah, that was it.
They weren't plugging that one.
And we pulled into, like, I guess what would be a service station over there. And we pulled into the precinct.
Oh, the police station.
He took us right to the police station. We went in the back, so we couldn't get off the bus. We had to stay on the bus and everything. And George was on the bus too. I remember he was out trying to go outside and have a cigarette. And they had to come and to change the tire, and something was wrong with the tire. They didn't have the right part. So we were like literally stranded in the middle of nowhere. And we were making good time, and then we ended up like having to rush.
6 hours.
But yeah.
Was Dwayne on the bus?
Dwayne was on the bus, sleeping the whole time.
He didn't wake up?
He had no idea.
No idea.
When the tire was fixed and we pulled into like a station to go get drinks and stuff and everything, he walks out, he was like, "How come it's taking so long for us to get here?"
He slept through the whole thing.
Slept through the whole thing.
That's without drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
Just did.
Yeah, no, it's just brain. That's losing brain cells.
That's so. When Joe Gerber was on the show a few weeks ago, he described this story, which is completely true, about the fact that the band had to sign this glass penis.
Yes.
Steven, you remember that one, right?
Yeah.
So. I don't want to go back over the whole story again, but it actually turns out to be very funny.
Yeah.
So I understand that on a recent tour with Dee Snider
Yes.
to, I believe it was somewhere in Sweden.
It was
also,
Sweden.
He sent you. Was it in what city was that?
I
again?
forget
Do you remember?
the city
It wasn't
myself,
Stockholm, was it?
No,
It was a smaller city, right?
smaller place.
But he started. He contacted you. Said, "I want you to go to all the hotels and see if it's still
Well,
in the lobby."
he called me. He said, "I think the hotel." He's like, telling me the story first. He's like, "So get it straight." And I'm like listening. I'm like, "What?"
I could imagine Joe doing this.
And he's like, "I want you to go to the guy at the desk and ask him, is there a glass penis?" And I thought he was kidding.
No, it's a true story.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying,
true
screw
story.
you. I'm like, I ain't going to. And he's like, no. He's like, really, it exists, and it was signed. He goes, but we forgot it there. So he said something about he couldn't put it in his
we
bag
couldn't carry it with us. Yeah,
he goes, but I want you, and then I'm thinking, like, well, what, you want me to carry this thing? So,
He wanted you to bring it back.
yeah.
Well, how are you going to take it from the hotel?
That's what I was.
Well,
First of all, I had to.
We gave it as a gift.
You don't even understand. He wasn't even sure if that was the hotel. He just wanted me to go up
So
to the
you
guy.
went to multiple hotels.
Well, he wanted me to. If I went to I went to our hotel, the one where we're staying for a whole week, and this is like 3 days before we leave, and I have to go to this guy and say, "Excuse me, you have a glass penis from Twisted Sister from a few years?" And I did. And the guy looked at me and was like, "I don't know what you're talking about," and no, we don't. And that was it. I was like, okay. So I call him up, and I'm like, "Joe, they don't have this thing here. What you're talking about." And I'm like, if you're screwing with me, the joke's over. I already went up to the guy. He's like, no, it exists. It exists. He goes, go to another hotel. Go to another hotel.
Imagine you.
I'm like, you
going around this town,
really
asking all the hotels.
And the guys in the band are like, "Where you going?" I said, "I got to go check something." And then I had to fill them in on the story because they were like, "What the hell?" And they were like, "Are you kidding me?" They didn't want no part of it. So I'm walking around like a jerk, going to like different hotels, and I'm like, "That's it, over."
For a glass
I
penis
called them up.
signed by all the members
Yeah.
of Twisted Sister.
I'm like, "Joe, I don't see no glass penis over here. It was a year ago. Somebody took it."
Let's take a quickie here about a quickie here about this. The Joe Gerber story about the glass penis, and also you looking for it. So, any of our fans out there. Again, it's someplace in Sweden. If you know what hotel it's at, contact us. Go on TS Facebook, Area 22, anything, and let us know where this is, because our old tour manager, Joe Gerber, is literally dying to get his hands on this big glass penis. That's what it's about, all right? So anybody out there know where this
is wrong.
This penis, there's something was Joe. Look at it. What do you expect? It's Joe Gerber.
And he's like really anxious to get
he
this.
really wants this glass penis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he really does. Private parts. But what's that? Yeah, what's the blood bunny about?
The blood bunny.
When Joe was on, you were asking us to talk about the blood bunny.
No, that wasn't when Joe was on. That was when Digger was on.
Oh, Digger. What's a blood bunny? Digger Mensch, another.
I wanted him to tell the story. So Digger.
Digger couldn't do anything. He was drunk.
Noticed.
He couldn't put 8 words together.
Yeah, I was hoping that show would go well. No, the blood bunny. So Digger went to SVA, School of Visual Arts, when he said we left school, but we went back.
Right.
He didn't tell you that part.
No, he didn't.
No,
I don't think he remembered that part.
I don't think he remembered what it was.
Let me just start this with Digger. His blood was affecting his alcohol system. All right, he had too much blood. He needed to displace more of the blood with some more alcohol.
Yes.
Digger, because it was interesting. I actually drove him home that night.
Oh, really?
Which isn't that far from here. It's a few towns over. Where he had to go. I don't want to say the name of the town.
Right.
But anyway, I actually drove him, and the conversation on the way there was worse than talking to Dwayne.
Oh man, I can only imagine.
All right, so what's the blood bunny?
So the blood bunny is he had to do for School of Visual Arts. He had to do some presentations and stuff, and he had to put stuff together. So basically, he put this whole 5-minute act together where he's with flash paper, and he had I think he had like Ozzy playing in the background, and all this other things. And one of the things was he had a bunny, which he stole from his ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend because he was a magician, and he had this bunny that he used in his act. So when he went over there, he came back, he had this bunny, and I'm like, "Why do you have this thing?" He's like, "We're going to use it in my my presentation. I'm like, whatever.
Oh boy.
So
I see this is going to go well.
So I had to help him with this thing. I used to help him with this stuff. And basically, I stood behind this, like if this table was forward and everything, I'd be hiding behind the table and I'd be doing all the smoke and mirror effects and stuff like that. So
did he cut you in half too?
No, not yet. But we filled condoms up with red food coloring dye and everything. And there was supposed to be blood, like he was going to throw them, and everything was splat. You know, he's supposed to do this outrageous act to wow people and shock value and all that other shit. So it's before the show, and this bunny's pure white, and I still don't know at this point where the bunny takes place in this show. And he was holding these condoms, but they blew up, and they poured all over the bunny. The bunny's now red and everything. So that's how I coined the name Blood Bunny. But he just came up to me before. He's like, I don't know what to do. I said, well, blood's on the bunny, and I don't know what to do with this bunny. So, I mean, we did the show and everything, but it was just funny because he was like 2 minutes before he was supposed to do this whole presentation, and it all went south. So he couldn't do anything, but I was hysterical laughing because this poor animal is covered in food dye, red food dye. So that's why we call it the Blood Bunny.
I mean, I get the translation and what you're trying to tell us, but if you knew Digger, you know that it's just ridiculously funny.
He's always been like that. He's out of his. I mean, the stuff we used to do. I mean, this guy, he used to come knocking, and I've known him since I'm 13 years old. He used to, like, when we were older, he would come knocking on my door. My window in my bedroom when I lived on the second floor. He would climb up on the side of the house and he was like, come on, let's go out. There's something going on over such and such place. And I'm like, well, I'm sleeping, dude. It's like, no, get dressed. Come on, let's go. And here I am sneaking out of my house in my window, getting into his car. He had a Trans Am.
And he's driving it at 13 years old.
No, this is later. We're like 17, 18.
Okay.
Yeah. So and we would just drive around like Hempstead Turnpike and hit up all the places and everything. And I'm like, dude, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Everybody's going home.
And it's on. I mean, of course, people saw it when Digger was on the show here, but you get to understand the stories. You got to know the guy.
Yeah, you got to know. He's just pretty much. He's a loose cannon.
So we were someplace, TS, and you were on the crew, and you were my bass tech, and you actually had a run-in with Kip Winger. You want to share that with us?
That was
because I didn't know it happened until way after it happened.
So, I mean, we were in Vegas, and
this is not anything against Kip Winger whatsoever.
No, we've
made a great guy, great music, great stuff. But Russell really didn't know what was happening, and he was just following my orders.
I got to go back like maybe 10 years also, because that was the last time I saw Kip Winger. And remember the Downtown?
Of course.
Okay, so
in Farmingdale.
Yeah, I was doing an acoustic act with Peter Cooperschmidt,
right?
Which we were part of a show that Randy Jackson was in, and Kip Winger was headlining. So obviously, when we got there a little earlier and everything, we were hanging out, and Kip was like, I'm kind of hungry. He's like, any place around here to eat? And I'm like, yeah, sure. There's a Greek place down there. So he's like, come on, let's go. And I went with him. We had dinner together. We were talking, and that's it. Fine. He looked much younger back then. It's the Kip Winger that everyone knows.
So did we all.
Yeah, the whole Don Johnson beard with the hair. So years later, when we went to the Vegas show, you did that. I forget what it was. Not a benefit, but it was something that an awards thing.
Oh, the awards thing, the heavy metal awards.
Yeah, you got the heavy metal awards, and the opening band was kind of an all-star band. I think it was Doro Pesh, Rudy Sarzo, Robert Sarzo. I forget who else. Somebody else was on drums. It was a couple of other people. So we did the setup and everything, and because we put the back line up and we weren't striking. So we're putting everything together, and we're done. We did the sound check, and I'm putting your stuff away and all that, so no one touches it. And then from across the room, I see this guy. He's got these dirty sweatpants on, holes in them, gruffy beard, short hair and everything, and he's looking at me and he's like, with the bass, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell the guy's saying. I'm like, yeah, it's the bass. What do you want me to tell you? So no, he's like, no, he's pointing to himself, and I'm like, okay, maybe you're a bass player. That's great. What do you want me to do? So finally he comes up. He's like, listen, I need to borrow that bass. And I said, well, you can't. He goes, why not? I said, because it's not yours. I said,
pretty simple.
I said, I'm responsible for this. I said, I don't know who you are. Meanwhile, I'm not putting.
Right, you didn't recognize
he's
it was
totally out of his whatever his presence. So I'm like, no, you can't. And he's like, well, whose bass is it? And can I curse on the show?
What's that?
Can I curse on the show?
Yeah, you can curse.
So I said it's Mark Mendoza's. Why? He's like, well, tell Mark Mendoza to go fuck himself. And I was like, really? I said, why don't you go tell him that? And I said, now you're definitely not using the bass. So I took it and I put it back, and I was like, that's it. You're not touching it. So somebody who's like, all right, fine, and then he goes off, and then somebody gave him a knockoff Fender or whatever to use. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I thought Rudy was playing bass for this band, Apparently Rudy was late, so he had him do it. And in my mind now, that's Rudy's tech. So I'm like,
you still don't.
I'm not putting it together. Yeah. So I'm giving him an attitude and everything. So finally he comes back up to me. He's like, listen, I'm afraid to ask, but could I use the amp? And I'm like, all right. I said, you can use that head, because remember we had one head that we bi-amped,
right?
And we kept it clean up. This is back before you had the Zoom pedal too.
Right.
So I said, okay, you can use that head, that cabinet. Don't screw with any of this. Okay. He's like, all right, like that. So he hooks up. He does his sound check and everything. So now I feel bad. I'm like, I was kind of...
Do you know who it is?
I still don't know who it is.
Why do you feel bad?
Because I feel bad just in general. I'm like, I was kind of an asshole to this guy.
You protected my gear.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think I had to be so hostile to him.
Yeah, that's all right.
I don't know why. Maybe because we were up all night, or who knows. But so anyway, I go down, we go get something to eat, and it was there was like that little diner area where everyone was having lunch and everything, and it was you, Eddie Trunk, and Rudy Sarzo.
Right.
So I walked in, and I'm like, oh, all right, let me get my, just sit down with you guys and hang out, and we'll have something to eat. So Rudy's getting up, and he's walking away. So as he walks past me, I says, Rudy, just come here for a second. I gotta tell you something. He goes, what's up? He goes, I says, I was kind of an asshole to your tech and everything. And he goes, my tech? I said, yeah, the guy
You're thinking that he's still Rudy's tech.
He goes, I don't have a tech with me on this show. I'm like, well, whoever the guy was that was playing bass for you because he was late. He goes, oh, that was Kip Winger. And I was like,
you went, yeah.
What?
I just dissed.
And then I told him what happened, and I was like, well, I really, I was kind of an asshole to him, and I wasn't letting him use the bass, and he started cracking up. So, and he walked away. That's when I came over and I told you guys, and what happened. I was like, I think I just totally dissed Kip Winger. And I told her, and then Eddie Trunk was laughing his ass off.
Yeah, I was too.
So I said to you, I was like, we got to make this better. I said, I didn't really want to do that. And so we that night in the green room and everything, I'm like, there he is. And I was like, can you go over there and just talk to him? And like, no, you go over there and tell him. I'm like, come on, you got to back me up on this.
I wanted to put you on the spot.
You definitely put me on the spot. So we went up to him, and then you told him was he an asshole to you? And he was like, well, he kind of was. And he's like, you looked at me and you're like, you're fired. Like that. I'm like, no. So everything. So then we talked it over. Now, here's the more embarrassing part. I don't even think I told you about this. Later on, I went back up to him. I'm like, listen, I still feel really bad, and I'm sorry and everything. And I said, I just remembered, you didn't look like you. I said, the last time I saw you, we had dinner. And he goes, yeah, I know.
He remembered it.
He remembered me. I didn't remember him, and that made it even worse.
It's awful.
He couldn't understand why I was being an asshole to him. And I was like, oh, man. But no, and then
did we smooth it out? I don't even remember.
So the next day, when we were waking up, everybody's getting up to go, and we were making coffee and stuff. He comes up to me. He's like, "What did he say?" He's like, "Can I borrow that milk?" Like that. And that was it.
Oh yeah, the Kip Winger bit.
The hotel was in Köping, Sweden.
Which one's that?
The hotel that you were just referring.
Who's that? Joe Gerber on the line?
No, Sap Terry.
Oh, Sap.
Yeah.
Terry Sapp is telling you where the hotel was that has the big penis?
Yeah.
All right, so Terry Sapp is a little penis. But no, Terry Sapp's
And
a
his
great,
cat
great
gives
friend.
head boops or whatever they are.
No, Terry Sapp's a great guy, man. He's a good
Yeah, no,
friend,
he is.
good friend of the band's and things like
He's
that.
come
But
a long way.
we certainly abuse him.
Yeah.
We'll do some Sapp stories in a minute, which he's probably not going to be happy about.
The Velcro kid.
The Velcro.
You say that in front of Eddie.
But so, what city is that penis in? Stephen?
Coping. It says, I guess Copenhagen?
No, Coping
No,
is a different city.
Copenhagen's-
So any fans there in Coping, Sweden, if you could check this out. Do we have the name of the hotel?
No.
No name of a hotel. What's wrong with you, Sap? You don't know where the hotel is, what the name of it is?
I mean, I could probably find out.
Yeah, so we'll have
After
to
the
find
show.
out if any SMFs, any fans over there in Coping, Sweden, can figure out what hotel actually houses the the Wonder Penis.
That's where actually
the glass penis. Joe Gerber's looking to find it.
I don't remember the name of the hotel, but I do remember I hung out with Mick Brown all night.
Did you?
Yeah, he's out of his mind.
Oh yeah, he's nuts. He's definitely nuts. He's a good guy.
He used to tell me. He told me that when you guys used to do rehearsals when they were touring with you with TS, that you didn't want anybody inside the stage area when
No.
you guys were doing sound check
Yeah.
and everything. He used to say that they used to all sneak up on the top
Right,
tier and
watch,
everything, and
yeah.
he used to call out.
When it was in
And
Doc.
he'd get yelled out.
Yeah. They were funny. They did when they were on tour with us. They actually took.
He says hi,
song-
by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Great guy. A lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with them.
Yeah.
But they actually took the song "Stay Hungry" and they changed. They kept the music. You heard about this,
He
right?
sung it for me.
Right. Great lyrics. I forgot the lyrics, but they changed "Stay Hungry" to "I'm Hungry."
Yes.
Right. I'm hungry for some burgers. Right.
Yeah.
I'm hungry for some food. I'm hungry for some French fries. I'm one big hungry dude. And there was verses and
Yeah, no,
choruses, and they really do. And when they did it for sound check one day, they thought we were going to fire them, and we were rolling.
Yeah.
Come on, I mean, if there's one thing TS is, it's a funny bunch of guys.
Don Bakken sung it?
Yeah, they were out there. They did it like a song, like we did it. They unfortunately, it was never recorded. You know, we
Right.
have it on video this day when everybody just grabs their cell phone and records all the coolest stuff.
Yeah.
But they did a version of "Stay Hungry" and they called it "I'm Hungry."
That's hysterical.
So, they were great, and they thought, "Oh, this is it. We're off the tour." No, man, my guy's hilarious.
Yeah, no, that's typical.
Everybody's comedians in Twisted Sister. Everybody is.
Yeah.
Except for me. I'm a nasty prick.
You could be. No.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's why nobody says anything about you.
Yeah, exactly. No, not
Just watch
actually
this
not.
guy over here. okay?
Yeah, watch
Say
this
anything
guy.
about-
Stay away from him.
I like when Eddie and JJ go back and forth.
Oh yeah, that's some funny stuff. You can never. You go through all kinds of situations in life, right? You play in bands, you have camaraderie with some of your friends, guys like I still hang with some of the guys I went to high school with, and there's always funny stuff. There really is. I want to say that probably some of the funniest situations I've ever been in, or been involved in, or been. Be careful.
Oh,
of my
sorry.
camera, right? My engineer's yelling at you.
Sorry about that.
All right,
That
don't
boy
piss him
with
off.
his ears out.
He's a rough character.
Yeah, I know.
He is.
You're going to do a Jackie Chan flip
He
over
is,
there.
absolutely is. But anyway, some of the funniest times ever was with just hanging with the guys in the band.
Yeah.
I have to say that I was in a band with four of the funniest people I've ever met in my life, including you being there and Dwayne being there, and of course George Marshall.
George was
Yeah,
always.
George was a walking, talking, freaking combat zone for comedy.
Yes.
He really was.
George.
And it was the people.
Johnny with the lights.
Oh, that's a whole nother story, which we'll get to in a minute. But I mean, it was just so funny. And I remember when we couldn't breathe, we were laughing so hard. Some of the tour bus rides, when we're all stuck together, whether it's in an airport where you're ready to board a plane,
Yeah.
or you're in a tour bus together, or sometimes even on the flight. Even on the flights.
The flights were the best because we would torment the airlines, the flight attendants.
Oh, yeah, they loved it too.
Yeah.
I mean, it was some funny stuff. But I gotta say that you think back through life and you think of the funniest times, and it always ends up being with the guys in the band, in
Yeah.
Twisted Sister. And it takes years for you to really digest that and understand the dynamics of the whole situation. And when because people come back, whether it's other bands or certain crew members or just friends of the band, and they witness this stuff and they talk to you about it. Well, for us, it just goes by, because it was a constant thing that happened. It was often, it just got just so funny you couldn't breathe anymore.
Yeah, no,
but you wouldn't think of, you don't think of it past that point until somebody questions you about it. You're in a situation that reminds you about it. Because I can't tell you how many times I'd be driving or be alone, especially. I have to drive to a gig someplace, and you hear something, you hear a song on the radio, even not a Twisted song, but a song by a band that you were on tour with, or somebody talking about a commercial in a voice that sounded familiar, and it reminds you
right back,
of something that you went through, and then all of a sudden you start laughing to yourself. People, you're in traffic, people looking at you, they're wondering if you're listening to Raw Dog Comedy Channel or something. No, I'm just thinking about the funny times.
Thinking about my life.
And yeah, exactly. But you would walk, and again, you would never think of this, but you'd walk backstage at all these big festivals we played, and you'd walk past the dressing room areas, and this is not a put down to any of the bands, but you'd look in their dressing room and say, "Hey guys, what's up?" Shake some hands, and people would be lounging around. Some guys would be taking a nap, guys would be playing some games. You get to the end of the hall where the TS dressing rooms are, and it's like a full-bore war. Comedy, though, it's just there's stuff being tossed over the walls. AJ was Dwayne. Yeah, AJ was nuts too. Dwayne would come flying through a doorway. We'd throw all kinds of stuff at him. I mean, it was nonstop. Three Stooges, slapstick comedy, stand-up comedy. It was just crazy, and you didn't think of it. But one of our crew members from a long time ago, Jimmy Gregoric, when Twisted broke up the first time, all the bands that he worked for, they wanted to hear Twisted stories. They wanted to hear the comedy because we had the reputation of being a very funny band.
Right.
And you never think of it when it happens. It isn't until afterwards where you, like I said, you start digesting or thinking about this stuff, and you can't reason it. I mean, it happens. You talk about the wit and the speed of tongue. You got a guy like Dee Snider being funny. How do you keep up with that? How does anybody outside the organization keep up? JJ French, Eddie Ojeda, who's probably the funniest guy in the band. Eddie can flatten you. I mean, just his routines are just insane, and it evolves, and it's great. AJ also just a freaking funny guy. And you put all of us together, and things that would happen.
And AJ would be involved a lot with everything.
Without a doubt.
He wouldn't he was like, we came with us in the morning.
He actually went earlier to work on his drum kits.
He would do that.
So he was with the crew a lot. I would come once in a while, if I was up, but I was always afraid of getting up too early and not being able to have energy late. 12 hours later, he would just do it anyway.
He would just lie down somewhere in a corner and go to sleep.
He would sleep. He was good at that. But not to get off of doing an interview with you, but the things were so funny and so crazy. And then later on in years when you came on board, he added another element of funny. Dysfunctional funny.
That's but it's true though.
And then this leads to this story about Dave Stryker, the videographer. Right. So I'm going to lead you in, and you're going to tell the story about what happened. So JJ French, right, says that he was there to document a lot of the funny stuff.
It was for one of the document films.
One of the films
that's not out yet, by the way.
It's not out yet. But he was there to document a lot of the craziness and things that went on in between the band. And you can't record all of it because some of it is just way too personal. But a lot of it you could. So JJ French tells him to record
the road.
And this is when I let you take over and tell the story.
So basically, he walked around and followed the band or the crew, anybody who had anything to do with this tour. He walked around and followed them, and his job was to film little incidents here or there, or us building the stage, some of the show,
the funny stuff,
going out on maybe sightseeing or something. So JJ had said to him specifically, I didn't think he was taking it literally, you need to film the road. And he's like, you want me to film the road? He goes, yeah. Now this is a guy who brought thousands of dollars of cameras,
right.
Like Nikons and Olympias, whatever he has, he had them. And what does he use? He uses a selfie stick
with an iPhone.
That's what he did all his recording with. So we had the bus. It was It was actually the last that you. I think you. Were you? Yeah, you guys were on a bus because I remember D was on the bus too.
Okay, then we were on the bus. Sure.
Because it was the last run.
Okay.
It was the 40 and fuck it.
Right.
So he's like, you got to document this, film it.
Incredible.
So we're driving on a bus, and you know, you go up to the front. George would be up there smoking or whatever. We go back and forth, and Stryker was sitting in that chair the whole time.
In the front of a tour bus, where the left front is where or unless it's England or Australia, the left front is where the driver actually sits.
Yes.
And then there's an open space next to him, and there's the steps that go out the front door. Well, right there's always a jump seat. It folds down.
Yes.
And someone can sit there to just sit up front and look at the roadway or look at the scenery or talk to the driver, and which we always did. And sometimes when I drove, the whole van would pile up in the front there. I can imagine what it looked like when you looked in the front window. Everybody's faces, a bunch of heads there. But anyway, so Dave Stryker's sitting in the jump seat.
He's sitting in the jump seat, and periodically we would go in and out, and he'd still be sitting there, and he'd have this selfie stick, and he's filming. So finally, I'm like, what exactly are you like looking for? Like a deer to run across or something? What are you trying to catch here? I was like, I'm just filming the road. I said, how much of the road do you need to film? I mean, it's
you've been doing this for hours.
It's consecutive. I mean, you know. He's like, well, it's like JJ told me to film the road. I said, wait a minute. I said, have you been up here for 3 hours just filming the road? He goes, yeah, why? He goes, that's what JJ asked for. I said, no, idiot. JJ wanted you to film the band on the road and what goes on. Right. He goes, are you sure about that?
I remember this.
Of course I'm sure. I wasn't even asked, and I know what's going on.
And there's all the craziness going on in the bus. And he's there filming the lines that go past.
He should have 6 iPhones in the back of the bus, what's going on, and he's filming one. So I was like, let me look at that. And I'm looking at it, and all you see is the white lines go. I'm like, go ahead, show this to JJ.
Twisted Sister.
He did get yelled at for that too.
Oh, yeah, believe me, we tore him to pieces. Twisted Sister is an equal opportunity employer. We definitely hire the handicapped.
Oh.
We have Dave Stryker and Dwayne Lozada, and that we have to fit into the whole object of hiring the handicapped, because those guys are definitely handicapped. But he was up front for about 3 hours, filming the road.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, nobody's that
the
stupid.
bus driver, I can't remember his name. Was it Mike or it was I think it was Mike. He said, why is he, later on, he asked me, he goes, you know, he was up here all day filming the road. He's holding the selfie stick, watching the white lines past the tour bus. 3 hours, 3.5 hours, this guy's up there. So anyway, that's the day.
I mean, he could have took 3 seconds and just looped it if he wanted to do that.
Right. Well, JJ didn't want the road. He wanted all the craziness.
Yeah.
So, meanwhile, it's nuts in the bus. Everybody's crying.
There's
and
people
laughing.
up on the second floor playing games and throwing shit at each other. Everyone's in their own spot.
It's like 15-year-olds at sleepaway camp.
Yeah.
It really is. So, that's the story of Dave Stryker.
And you got to experience the life. It's not a normal day.
No, it's never.
It's not normal because everyone's got a different schedule of what they're doing. I mean, you got to take planes at 3 o'clock in the morning. You got to go directly to someplace. Sometimes we do shows and we leave to the next country.
Yeah.
So you're not going. I remember we drove in Bulgaria for 2 hours. Drove to a hotel that they gave us, this beautiful hotel, and you guys treated us good, for tax, we had these nice, beautiful rooms. And I remember we went all the way to Bulgaria. I think Danny was like, let's go back to the hotel, we'll shower, and we'll go. And we pulled up to this giant hotel. It was in the middle of nowhere. It was in Bulgaria, and it was a golf course. And everybody was on the crew. I mean, Mentis, Johnny, Keith, and whoever else, Dwayne, and we were all there. Some people didn't want to go to the room because we only had a 3-hour stay. We can only stay there for 3 hours, and some of us went to the room, and it was this big, luxurious room, had a balcony overlooked, and I'm like, I can't even get comfortable here right now. We gotta go.
Yeah, you can't even lay down.
I'm like, should I even bother taking a shower?
Yeah.
So I did. I fell asleep, and then we had the knocks on the
Time
door.
to go.
That's it. And everybody was outside. I think Memphis was late. We all had to sit on the bus waiting we were going to leave him
Methis?
there. Yeah.
Talk about Methis. I don't know. How tall is Methis?
About 18 feet tall or something.
Yeah, I think he's like 7.5 feet tall. Methis is Finnish. He's a Finn. He's from Finland, right?
Yeah.
He's a great guy. He's a very good guitar player. And he's a great guitar tech.
Yeah.
Right? But you can't understand his accent when he speaks English.
No, it's like... It's like definitely a voice out of Star Wars.
Yeah, it's almost like Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
Methis. Take the marbles out of your mouth, right? He's a great guy, man.
Oh,
He's a
yeah,
great
no, I
tech.
love him.
He's a very good guitar player. You can't understand it, but it's great because once in a while, when he has to walk out on stage, he towers over everybody. And I remember Eddie goes, "Hey, there's a horse on stage with us." It's Methis walking around the stage in the middle of a show. Yeah, oh yeah, that's Eddie.
I think
there's a horse, and he's deadpanning, dead straight. Eddie, there's a horse on stage with us.
Someone says to him, so how does he's a guitar tech, they go, how does he grab the guitars, like 4 at a time? In his
Right, yeah,
hands?
he's big. He carries 4 guitars at once. That's very funny. So
With one hand.
Oh, that's incredible. So let's get hit. Here's an inside joke that we never really shared with the world, and it may not be very funny to people, but it's pitiful to the guys in Twisted Sister. We have a guy who does lights for us in Europe.
Johnny.
He's a lighting director.
Fat Ozzy.
I don't call him a lighting director. I just call him a mistake. A mistake. Stephen, what we need you to do is put your hands, I guess it's switches 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I tell you to, you turn those lights off. Okay, and then you will know, and I'll tell you to turn them back on. Anyway, Johnny Fredrickson, in his ultimate wisdom of trying to do lights for us, never got them right once. Not once, okay? What You Don't Know, the opening song of the show.
Yes.
All right, it requires some specialty lighting, but anybody, I could teach my 12-year-old nephew, turn it on this time, follow this beat, and they would go, okay, this is what it is. So the opening of the song, I'm sure all the Twisted fans know the opening of the songs. Bam, 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 right? So you're supposed to use a different color light for every hit.
Right.
Bam, bam. So, Stephen, shut those lights off. This is like not production value. But here's Johnny Fredrickson's light show. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, bam. No, leave him off for a second.
Yeah.
Bam, 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 bam.
He's not kidding.
Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. So, okay, we can go back to the lights. So, it not once was it ever on cue. Not once was it ever the right color.
Yeah.
Not once was it like turn these freaking lights on. And every single night,
Yeah.
I would have to go over to Danny Stanton and tell Danny would get the headsets on from the monitor board up to the consoles out front where George and Johnny was. I said, you tell that Swedish meatball, all right? Nothing against Swedes. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Johnny Fredrickson, and I love the guy. I really do.
Yeah, no, he's a
I
sweetheart.
love the guy. He's a sweetheart. He's a great guy. He's such a huge fan, you know. And but I would say to him, you tell Johnny Fredrickson to turn those lights on, turn them on and leave them on, or I will take the bass off. I will go out there and beat him to a pulp. Turn the freaking lights on. Forget about trying to time anything with music.
Yeah.
He never I never stood on that stage and watched the timing of the lights go, oh wow, look at this. It's really cute. It's great. You know, we do, of course, the TS fans know, the Burn in Hell.
Yeah.
Right? The opening to Burn in Hell, it's D's great. You know, he gets down on the stage and crawls across the stage before he actually starts doing the vocal, and Eddie and I and AJ are playing the part, and Mike Portnoy low, and D goes up, and he's supposed to have 2 red lights, just glowing on him.
Right.
So he kind of looks like a devilish thing, and he's great. D's great at putting on the part. Yeah, it's very theatrical.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, everything else, Johnny, turn him down all the way. Just turn the red lights on D. Okay, so go ahead. Here's your cue. And then they go off, and he's like looking around, like, what happened to the lights? Leave them off for a second. So, and he's going through the whole vocal thing in the front, right? Before it gets to, you're gonna burn in hell, right? And the band comes on, and it's loud. So right there, it stops, and then right before D goes, it's gonna burn in hell, Johnny turns everything on. Like, you missed the cue. Okay, turn the lights back on. He misses the cue. I mean, and it looks like me operating this flashlight. I mean,
literally.
Johnny, there's supposed to be red lights, specials on D. It's like the only time where the stage is dark and D's up there and he's got, everything hanging off of him and sweaty. I mean, the photographers, if they had light, would get great photos.
Sure.
I mean, it looks incredible. I've seen videos. I've seen when other people do the lights, and there's some light on D, and those photos are always great because D is very theatrical.
Sure.
It's just amazing, and the moment is completely ruined every freaking time by Johnny Fredrickson.
I'm picturing him up behind the booth like the Griswold's Christmas with the big plug trying to put it together. That's what he's doing.
And he would literally run from me after the show.
Yeah.
He would hide because I was going to bounce him around like a basketball. I was going to do my NBA trick on him and put him to a hoop someplace.
Yeah, no.
Oh, man, he used to get me so angry because he would miss every single cue. Johnny, turn the lights on. Johnny, turn the lights on. Johnny, turn the lights on. That's it. One light in everybody's face. One light for the whole stage. Johnny, turn the lights on. Yeah. And D, and we'd always, every guy you talk to, we just say, no matter what we tell you to do, okay, no matter what goes on, if D says, shut the lights off, turn the house lights on, or light this up, you got to be ready to go. All right? And it would never happen if you were like, Johnny, hey, is this thing on? In front of like 85,000 people. Is this on? Johnny, turn the stage lights off, turn the audience lights on. And then the stage lights would go chunk, chunk, chunk. They go off piecemeal, and then the audience there was no explosion of light. It was just they would go on piecemeal. It was
funny.
just the funniest. I mean, it was sad because we had the worst light show. We're the biggest band headlining, right? Great sound. Got George Marshall up there driving the soundboard. Pinning everybody's ears back.
Yeah.
And you got Johnny Fredrickson, who doesn't. I mean, I'm telling you, if I had a wall switch, it would go better. And I said for a while there, I said, just put switches on the stage and let me do it with my feet. Because I can operate it better with my feet than you can up at the light board. But yeah, Johnny's a great guy.
He did redeem himself with his the dinner we had at his house.
Yes, actually, that was very funny.
Do you remember what we ate too, right?
Oh, no. What did we eat?
It was pretty interesting, actually. It turned out to be really good. Well, first of all,
it was a good deal. It was a very good meal.
First of all, there was about 20 of us crammed
stuffed into his little apartment.
Probably the size of this room. And
his apartment was probably 3/4 the size of this room.
And
it's not that
we're
big.
Still us. We're not showing any manners in this place. All lying on the couch, checking out his albums. And
Johnny is also an amazing collector of rock and roll memorabilia, especially autographs.
Yeah.
Like he would have everything you made in every form, whether it was album, cassette, CDs, DVDs, bootlegs, you name it, everything, and you had to sign. Every time we went to Europe, he'd have boxes or bags of things for us to sign. And of course, we signed it for Johnny, because that's how we paid him. We never gave him any cash. We just paid him in autographs. It was sad. No, we actually paid him, but it really was. But anyway, so Johnny, I think it was one of the last times we played Sweden.
It was one of the last times, TS played.
And he decided we played the town that he grew up in, which was
Gothenburg.
Gothenburg, right?
Yeah.
Gothenburg.
It was Gothenburg.
So he said when we play Gothenburg, we're going to go to his house or his apartment for dinner. Except for we didn't know it was like a studio shoebox.
We all ate at this table, which was like the conference room table in there.
Right, the conference room table in a room. That's like
and it was everybody was there.
2 feet from the back of your chair.
So and of course we all requested Swedish meatballs, which by the way
were incredible.
Were the best Swedish meatballs
just
ever.
Amazing. Well, he didn't make it. His girlfriend.
His girlfriend did.
Yeah,
the most interesting thing though was the cake. which really wasn't a cake.
What was it again?
It was like, I guess it was like a Norwegian type, Sweden, a Scandinavian
Well,
type
he's
thing.
Sweden. We're in Sweden at that point.
We were in Sweden.
Russell, Sweden.
Yes, I forgot.
Not Norway.
Listen, it's Norway.
We
Sweden.
love Norway. We love Sweden and Scandinavia, but we're actually in
I
Sweden.
got to.
at
I
this
was
point.
just in Norway last year. I got to walk a reindeer. But that's
Did you
another-
really?
Yeah.
Or did the reindeer walk you?
Well, no, we walked there.
Or
but then
you
we-
with sap?
But we ate it the next day.
Were you walking sap?
Yeah, I was walking sap. So anyway,
So what was the cake? I forgot.
it was basically after we found out it was tuna fish sandwiches compressed on top of each other. Okay.
This was the dessert?
No.
This is dinner.
This was dinner.
Oh, it was good.
It was awesome, and
Yeah.
it was tuna fish sandwiches with whipped cream around
Oh,
it.
that's right. I was so
And it
hot.
had boiled shrimp on
Right.
top, and nobody really wanted to eat it at first.
No, and then
And I think one of us took a chance, and
I think it was actually Dee that took the first bite, right?
no, I don't think he was there.
Oh, he wasn't there. He
wasn't- he wasn't there.
I'm trying to think who was the first.
I think it was Portnoy.
Yeah, it was Portnoy.
think
You're
Portnoy
right.
jumped
Portnoy
in.
just said, "Oh, I'm going to try it."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Mike Portnoy.
And
Yes.
then I was like, I don't know, and I took a bite, and I was like, this isn't freaking bad. I think what turned us off was the whipped cream on the tuna.
Yeah, whipped cream on tuna
They
and
iced
shrimp.
it like a cake, yeah, with shrimp
And it was
on top.
delicious.
It was awesome.
It really was awesome. They had some great
no,
dishes
yeah, that
there
was a
and stuff.
great meal. So that also, you like stories, and I'm like, there's so many of them that come to you. I remember the cell phone story on the roller coaster.
No, what roller coaster? Was I on a roller coaster?
You weren't there. No, it was Danny, me, Mentis, Johnny and his wife.
And Dwayne.
I think Dwayne. No, Dwayne didn't go on the roller coaster. He was there, but he was walking around. So we go on the roller coaster. This big freaking wooden roller coaster is tremendous over there, and everyone's paired off. Johnny's in the very back. Okay, I think Danny and I don't know who Danny was sitting next to is there, and it was me and Mentis, like us two crammed like this.
Yeah, well, you were sitting in a seat with a horse.
Yeah, he was like, you know. So I had a leather vest on, and I took my cell phone and I put it in my pocket, right? And I had the harness down there. So I'm not thinking like all the G-forces and everything is going to be having shit fly around. So we go up and everything. We're all excited, like, yeah, we're on a roller coaster. When we go down, my phone comes out of my pocket, okay, and falls on the floor. So now I'm not even worried about the ride anymore. Mentis sees it happen, and he's pointing his giant finger, and it's like, it's right there. So my phone was next to my foot on the floor.
Could you put your foot on
I
it?
couldn't move my foot because I was crammed. I had a horse next to me. So I'm like this.
I had a horse sitting
I was sitting next to Mr. Ed. So I'm like this, and I'm trying to move my foot. I'm like, I got to put my foot on it because we're going down a hill. There's another
Right,
one
and
coming.
it's going to go over the hill. and
We're
it's gonna
going
fly
over the
out.
hill. So a natural reflex is to go like that when you go down, and I'm trying to concentrate on the phone. So now, as we go down, I hear like that.
And you just, like, gave Steven a heart attack.
Oh, I'm sorry. I hit that. Well, that's exactly what happened.
The
So
microphones.
so I heard that, and then I opened my eyes, I looked down, the phone's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone. I'm not even enjoying the ride no more.
Right.
I don't care. I just want to get off this freaking thing. I'm like, the phone flew out. The phone flew out, right? So we ended. I'm sitting there like this. I'm all pissed off. I'm like, I gotta go pick my phone up. It's in pieces on the floor somewhere. I don't even know where it went. That's all I'm worried about. You lose your phone nowadays. It's it.
Yeah.
It's all your life. So as we stop, I hear him laughing in the back of me.
Who? Yeah, everybody's laughing.
Everybody's hysterical laughing, and I'm like, "Fuck, it's my phone and everything." And even Mentis turned around and he looked, and he's like, "So I was like,
What he sounds like.
yeah, so I'm like, what the hell is everyone laughing at?" And Johnny's there, and he's like, "Did you lose this?" And I'm like, "It's my phone." I'm like, "How did you get my phone?" So what happened was he was watching when we went down. The only cross beam on this roller coaster was right at that point, and when the phone went up,
It bounced off of
it
it.
bounced off and hit Johnny in the chest.
And Johnny
And Johnny hugged it the whole time.
Johnny Frederickson.
I was like, oh my
saving the
God.
phone.
And I had an otter case, so it was
Yeah.
like well protected. I was like, that could not
I didn't
happen
know
in a
that
million.
one. I didn't know that
No,
story.
the phone flew, and if that crossbeam wasn't there, it would have been gone. But I was like, holy jeez, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I could just picture it sinking into his gut, catching, he caught it with his gut, you know?
Johnny Frederickson.
So I was like, oh man, thank you, you know?
So the dinner at his house was very good. The
dinner at his house was really good, yeah.
And yeah, it was we had a great time. But Johnny Frederickson is a great fan of every band.
Yeah.
You know, he really is. He's a metalhead maniac.
The last time I saw him was last summer. We did a show. I forget, somewhere in Sweden. He was there. He was doing selling T-shirts. He was selling T-shirts and coffee.
Really?
Yeah, he had
a coffee.
He
beanery.
He had a regular booth with all the T-shirts on this side, and he had 5 Mr. Coffees going.
I want to say it was probably 3 or 4 years ago. Johnny came to New York with his girl. She's very. I can't believe she puts up with him, but she's very sweet, very nice.
Yeah.
And we went to
Smoking Owls.
Smoking
We
Owls,
took 'em to
right?
Smoking Owls.
You were there.
Yeah.
Yeah. We actually took him to Smoking
right.
Owls in Massapequa Park, and because we kept telling him the best barbecue in the world is right here on Long Island, and he agreed. And he was like, "Yeah, this is pretty amazing."
Yeah.
So there's a little plug for Smoking Owls barbecue, but. Like I said, the comedy is ridiculous. We were in an airport, and I don't remember where it was, and AJ discovered this children's playhouse, right? AJ.
We were
and you
delayed.
go in.
We were delayed.
What's that?
We were
delayed.
We were
So
delayed.
we had, and somehow, part of the jetway or the area where we were hanging out in, there was this children's playhouse.
It's like an igloo.
It's like an igloo.
You walked inside, yeah.
Right, you walk inside this igloo, and depending on what you pressed,
You stepped on. It was a
stepped
floor.
on the floor where you stepped on it,
Like
it
a
made different
horn
sounds.
or a cow.
So all you needed to do was like, he started it, and the rest of us go in there, and everybody walking by is watching these grown men act like children,
Well, if you-
trying to press everything and
if you
pushing
walk-
each other out of the way.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, well, all the sounds that were nonstop. And of course, people are watching the show and listening to this and going like, I don't know if that's that funny. Well, if you were there, you would have been busting a gut because
It was funny because all of us walked out,
Yeah,
and
well,
they thought kids were going to walk
they thought
out.
kids were going to come out of
and grown men come walking out.
And the fighting inside the thing was just ridiculous. The fighting. So,
Yeah.
you told a story that a little while ago when we were talking before the show. You told a story when Mike Portnoy was brand new in Twisted Sister, and I didn't remember it, but you reminded me of it.
It's before Mike got used to the TS camp.
The craziness,
I don't think
right?
he realized the hostility and everything.
Yeah,
and
oh,
his
yeah.
wife even said that. You know, he's very temperamental.
Yeah, he's
guy.
very laid back kind
Yeah,
of.
he's
He's not
not very-
crazy. So when you get exposed to the Twisted Sister camp, you have to be. You have to have
it's
thick
like an
skin.
initiation almost.
It's
You
initiation.
know,
So-
if you hadn't get duct taped to the wall.
Again, I believe we were in Europe someplace.
Somewhere
weren't we?
in Europe, I forget
and they
where
had
it
these
was.
portable bathrooms, right?
They would like.
They were nice. It's like a big trailer.
It's
You walk in.
what probably you ever see what the landscapers use? Those
Yeah.
big look like horse trailers, whatever. Converted into a bathroom with stalls. I mean, it was clean, you know.
It's nice, yeah.
So Mike, we were just standing there. I don't even know what we were doing. And the
Oh, I had just gotten done with bothering Eddie because he had gone in there.
yeah, well,
Eddie Ojeda.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they had the dressing room, and I think you left for a moment, and he came up. He's like, "Where's the bathrooms?" And I said, "There's, the stalls right there." So he's like, "Oh, all right." So he goes in there. And you came walking back downstairs, like looking for someone to torment.
Right, of course.
So you go, who just walked into the bathroom there? And I said, Portnoy walked in there. He's like, oh, all right. And then you just go up to it, and you start smacking the side.
I'm banging on the side.
Yeah,
and
so
then-
I forget who I was sitting next to, but standing next to might have been Dwayne.
Right.
And we're just laughing hysterical.
Right.
So then
then I
you're
start
getting
shaking.
Well, you're not getting a response.
Right, there's no response.
There's no
out of him
response.
yet.
So now
Right.
you got one better, and you start shaking
this thing. This whole
and me
portable.
and Dwayne were looking at each other like, "What the fuck is he doing?" It's like Mike's in there. I don't know. He's been in there for a while.
Shaking this thing.
He's not washing his hands.
Exactly.
So you do that, and then you do like, whatever, and then you walked away, and then he comes out, and he's dusting himself like he's got blue. Oh, I just knocked my mic out. No.
No, you're good.
He's dusting himself, and he's like writing blue shit all over him. I'm like, did he shake it so much that the water was splashing all over him? And he was pissed. He's like, what the fuck's going on now?
Yeah.
We didn't say nothing.
Right, he thought it was an earthquake.
We just pointed. We were like that. We didn't say anything.
Yeah.
He was like, Jesus Christ, and he walked away.
Yeah, after that, he got used to it. Yeah, Mike was a good sport.
Well, I knew he was in. I knew he was like felt comfortable because you chased Dwayne around the stage. That was your
chasing
thing.
Dwayne and you.
And yeah, both of us. If we were out, we were afraid to go out there. But I knew he got into it because when you were chasing, you were throwing shit at him and everything, and he went
chasing Dwayne,
yeah. And you didn't go. You had your boundary where you had to stop, and Dwayne kept going, and
right.
his normal MO would to be run around and stop. So I guess he felt a little confident, and as he's running, Portnoy takes a full bottle of water and throws it at his back.
Yeah, that's right. And it got no cap on it.
No, so he's soaking wet, and the funny thing was he wasn't expecting it from Portnoy.
No, not at all.
And it was just funny because the way Portnoy was in mid-play, he was like this, and he took his bottle and like that.
Just with his hand, he just tossed it. Hits Dwayne in the back. Dwayne goes everywhere.
He knew that was it. He was getting tormented after that by everybody.
Great
Poor
stuff.
guy.
Great. It's chasing Russell and Dwayne on stage.
that was.
The crews loved it. At first, they thought I was angry at Dwayne. They were like, "This guy's going to kill Dwayne." And then it was, I would just, even if he didn't come on the stage, he'd be back by the amps, and I would kind of not pay attention to him, and I'd get close enough and then turn and charge at him, and you'd see him run and like literally never use the steps on the back of the stage. The stages are up high. Yeah. He would just go straight down the steps.
He would swan dive into the back somewhere. I would get caught. You would chase me.
Because when I catch him on stage, I beat him.
You would chase me towards the front of the stage, and I'd have to hide behind a monitor or wedge somewhere until the coast was clear. That was like, oh man.
Yeah,
that was fun.
The stories are endless. I told the story when Joe Gerber was on the show with me about walking someplace in France, and we were going to dinner after the show. We had all cleaned up, and the promoter was having a dinner for us. And we're walking through, I don't remember, was it Clisson?
It was a park somewhere.
Somewhere in France.
It was a park.
And the last row of people walking was you, Dave Stryker, and Dwayne. And I'll never forget. And it's me and JJ and I think Danny right in front of you guys.
Yeah, you guys were up there.
And right in front of you. And we're listening to you guys talk. And you guys are talking and not paying attention to the other one. Right? And you're just feeding them to get them cranked up. So finally, it's a beautiful night, and it's a full moon. Dave Stryker, again, I'll just start real quick with the story. Dave looks up, and he goes, is that the same moon that we see in New York?
I was like, okay.
I see JJ.
Game on.
JJ makes a frown like, what? I said, shh, just keep walking. Keep walking, because this is going to get good. And Russell's going to jump in this and get them crazy.
I had to.
And then Dwayne goes, well, I'm not really sure. It may not be the same moon that we see in New York. I think, what? I'm saying, and Danny's just crying already. He's like, this is what goes on.
Yeah.
Because and he starts telling me and JJ, you guys aren't around all the time. This kind of conversation goes on about everything.
Oh yeah.
About everything.
Anything.
So it goes on for a few more minutes, and then Stryker actually says something about the fact that it depends on where you are on the planet. You could see two moons.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what, did somebody drop their drawers? I mean, what? And he's being serious.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not kidding. He thinks it's too much Star Wars.
That I don't remember all of it, but that went off into a flat Earth, flat Moon conversation.
Yeah. The Earth could be flat, and the Earth could be flat. Well, Dave goes, the moon's flat, but we're just seeing the side of it, so that's why it's round. And
Dwayne's like, I'm on the fence with that one, but you could be right
about that one. You could be right.
When he's not sure, he'll say, you could be right. You could be right.
You're crying. You're laughing so hard. You're crying. But then he gets into this bit about, well, it could be, depends on where you are. Sometimes if you're in the southern hemisphere of the planet, there could be two moons up there. And then
real astrologers over here.
2 moons. 2 moons. And then Dave said, well, yeah, there's a possibility that we have 2 suns. I go, all right, Dave, what is this, Star Wars? There's that scene in the
Yeah.
Star Wars that has the suns in the sky.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, man. And this is serious. This is serious conversation between Dwayne and Dave.
The stupid leading the stupider.
Oh, man.
It was
It's frightening. It really is
Yeah,
frightening.
it was pretty
It
fun.
really is frightening. Let's move on to some other stuff.
Sure.
Of course, you're in Dee Snider's band,
I
my
am.
good friend Dee Snider.
Yes.
You're in his solo project, and it's a great band. He put out a great album for the love of metal.
For the love of metal,
and it's
yes.
nice to see that you're always pushing it.
Yeah.
And things like that, and so do I.
Wanna
I
keep
always
working.
say great stuff about it. What's that?
I want to keep working.
Well, yeah, absolutely. You want to keep working, and I was glad that Dee got stuck with you.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Even though I crack jokes about it all the time, but he couldn't have found a better bass player, a better guy on stage, to cut all this stuff. So it's a great thing that he actually accepted you being in the band.
Yep.
And I had to coax him along a little bit there, Russ.
You did.
All right.
You did.
So in any case, it's actually turned out well. It's a great band that he has with you in it. And the other thing I wanted to get at, that's the reason why I'm pushing this also, and don't forget everybody listening and watching, pay attention to where Dee's playing. Go see Dee Snider doing his solo project For the Love of Metal. It's a fantastic album, and he has a great band, and they do a great job of playing all these songs, including some of the Twisted stuff.
We do some of the Twisted.
So yeah, it really is. It's a great project, and I'm glad that he has
I do the best
this
I
going.
can with it.
Yeah, I'm glad you're in it. I'm glad Dee has such a great project going on. But also, let's bring it up to date a little bit right now. Russell also has a band called Reverence. Russell's been in Reverence for about, I don't know how long
3
now.
years.
About 3 years now.
Yeah.
A great band. He certainly gave me a copy of the CD before it got released.
Yep.
And I know it well. I could definitely give it kudos, and everybody should go listen to it and check it out, because not only is it a great band, but he has an incredible singer in the band, Scott Oliva.
Yeah, Oliva.
Scott Oliva on vocals. Amazing vocalist. He actually plays in other things on Long Island also.
He's got a couple other bands that he's working with. There's a band called Nightmare Stage that's that they just put an album out. It's more of a theatrical type, kind of like I don't know, I want to say like a Nightwish type thing, if you know who they are.
Right, sure.
He's got another band that he's resurrecting from years ago, a band called Inner Strength, which is basically it's all his old bandmates and everything. They're putting everything together, and they're trying.
Didn't he actually do a project about Dio?
Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden.
He actually fronts one of the top Iron Maiden bands on the East Coast.
He's a great vocalist.
He is the likes of Bruce Dickinson. He can mimic his voice quite well, among other things. And not that he doesn't like that. He doesn't like Bruce Dickinson. He's a big fan, but he's got his own. He's got such a versatile voice.
Yeah.
I mean, if you listen to a lot of his other stuff,
I've checked it out.
You can hear Dio in his voice.
Great
you can
stuff.
Hear and his influences are like Mark Farner and Steve Marriott.
Steve Marriott,
yeah. Those are his.
Mark Farner and Steve Marriott, two of my favorite vocalists.
Two of the
without
best
a
singers
doubt.
as far as I'm concerned.
A lot of people out there may not know who it is. Mark Farner was the original in Grand Funk Railroad, the great band from the 70s, late 60s, early 70s, Grand Funk Railroad, Mark Farner. And of course, Steve Marriott, probably one of my favorite vocalists. Steve Marriott was a singer in Humble Pie, the original Humble Pie, because there's another Humble Pie touring right now. You know that?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's another Humble Pie touring. It's similar to the Foreigner situation. There's no original members.
Oh, really?
But it is so good.
Not even Peter Frampton?
No, there's another guitar player. I can't remember his name right now. It's very good. But yeah, the Humble Pie band going around now is great. I mean, you look at Foreigner right now, and there's no original members in Foreigner, but they're doing an amazing job. Mick Jones plays with them once in a while, but not all the time.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see. I am a big fan of Humble Pies, and it's good to see. I haven't seen them live yet. I'd like to, but I understand. I've seen a couple of videos, and the guys do a great job.
Really?
Jerry Shirley is a little bit involved because he's the surviving member. Well, Peter Frampton is still alive. But
Yeah.
he's really one of the he's a surviving member besides Peter Frampton, and he encourages them to use the name and go out there and tour. So kudos to
He was
Humble
in
Pie.
Fastway for a while.
What's
too,
that?
right? He was in Fastway for a while.
Sure was.
Yeah.
She was. Yeah.
With, Eddie.
Jerry Shirley.
Yeah.
Great stories about
You've
Jerry
done a lot of work.
Shirley.
You've done work with him.
What's that?
You've done work with them, right?
Not really. Dee and I met him a couple of times.
Oh, I'm sorry. Eddie Clark and all those guys.
Oh, Eddie Clark, Fast Eddie Clark.
Yeah,
and
I'm just thinking
Pete Way,
Fastway was in-
and
yeah,
Pete Way and
Pete
stuff.
Way.
Yeah, we know Pete Way quite well, and there's stories about Pete Way, which I'll get into in a minute. But Humble Pie, one of my favorite bands growing up, and just like Cactus and Led Zeppelin and Mountain, and that whole genre of music at that time was very influential in a lot of musicians. And you hear Steve Marriott and you say, how does he do that? How does he sing like that?
Yeah.
There is, when you're growing up and you're influenced by a lot of things, Humble Pie did a version of Honky Tonk Woman, the Rolling Stones' Honky Tonk Woman.
Yeah.
And they did a bunch of different versions, but there's a particular version out there that's on the Eat It album.
Right.
Eat It was obviously is a double album, and 3-side studio and 1-side live. And the live side has a Honky Tonk on it, and it starts out with Steve Marriott singing. He sings the intro of the song, and it's ungodly. It's like how could someone possibly do that?
Yeah.
But he does, and I got to say that I'm trying to think of his name now. It just escapes me. Jerry Coons.
Oh, okay.
Is singing now for Humble Pie, and he does an amazing job.
Really?
He does a great job of pulling those songs off.
I could see it.
It's not easy because each guy in Humble Pie was a very unique musician.
Yeah.
Jerry Shirley, the drummer, he was an early AJ. He hit the drums hard.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that Dee and I, being big fans of Humble Pie, when we were hanging out with Jerry Shirley, Dee said to him, "Why do you always ride on a crash cymbal? Constantly. He goes, because when I played the hi-hat, no one could hear it because the band was so loud. So everything I do is riding on a crash cymbal, splashing all the time." So very funny how he said it in his illustrious British
accent. You could hear that playing on the first Fastway album.
Right, of course.
Hear him killing it. Yeah.
Killing it. So
his snare sound
that was
like pops.
But Humble Pie is great, and then you have Greg Ridley, who doesn't get any credit for the way he played bass. He was just a trendsetter in rock music, and he had a great gravelly voice too. Greg Ridley, unfortunately, he's gone too. Steve Marriott's long gone.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I don't even know what Clem Clemson's doing if he's still alive anymore. Not that I'm making fun of him, but he was he's a great. I saw him in Humble Pie a number of times, and he was great too. So you get a chance. Humble Pie is playing. I don't know where they're touring. Just go on the website and take a look at them. And I don't really know the guys at all, but they had great songs, great rock songs, and I think most people remember Rockin' the Fillmore and I Don't Need No Doctor.
Yeah, great song.
So check them out if they're coming to a town or a theater or a stage near you. Go check out Humble Pie because I just really love the band. And these guys, they're doing it justice. They're actually doing a great job portraying Humble Pie.
So another big influence of ours is both of ours is this is what kind of brought us together more is Glenn Hughes, who actually played last night.
Yeah, Glenn Hughes.
Which I missed. Paramount, I think.
He played at the Paramount?
I think he played.
He's so out of touch with everything locally.
Yeah,
I would love to have seen him. He is fantastic. Love Glenn Hughes in when he plays with Bonamassa. Black Country Communion. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
awesome.
Incredible. He's awesome too.
Yeah,
he
that
really
whole
is.
thing. So that's what brought me and Scott kind of together more, and we put together a band years ago with a friend of ours, Charlie Grosso, and Gary Rello on drums, and we made Sinner's Prayer. And
right, that was one of your bands from a few years ago.
Yeah, and that's more rock oriented, and that's based on all that music. It's based on Deep Purple. It's based on Humble Pie type stuff and Grand Funk. And
great band, I remember that.
We used to do a few covers from each of those bands.
Right.
And we have a bunch of originals out. We have it's nothing pressed.
So what's happening with Sinner's Prayer? Are you actually going to play again?
We'll put something together again. It's a periodic band, because we're so busy now. It's hard to do that. I've talked to a couple of the guys, the other two guys, and I said, maybe we'll do a one-off somewhere here or there.
Right.
So. But we started concentrating on Reverence, and he was in Reverence before I was. the original singer for that band,
Right.
Todd Michael Hall, he was on the first two albums. He wrote a lot of the songs there, and he left to go to a Riot. He's in Riot now.
Right, he's playing with Riot
He's
now.
playing
yes.
in Riot. He's
Another
over-
great band.
Right.
Yes.
So that left the band. They revamped the whole band, and it just left the two the main players at the time, which is Brian Holland, who we talked to earlier, and the guitar player on both the two albums, and some of the songs on the new EP. Was Pete Rossi, who he passed away last year, unfortunately.
Your guitar player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was
I remember
almost
when that happened.
Yeah. And so like that's around the time we got into. It was almost like the beginning of the end for that band, and we were just up in the air. Like, what are we going to do? Like, we're going to go on, or are we going to, are we going to just put this album out and that's it and call it? So. Basically what happened is, like, after a few months we realized, like, we put a lot of work into this stuff. Let's go out and just do some shows with this and everything. We'll press the album and put it out. So we recruited another guitar player, Paul Cleff, who was he was in Metal Church for a short time.
Right.
And it was like auditioning, and he's out of Detroit. First of all, yeah, the Brian and Paul are from Michigan. They're in Detroit, and
Right,
me and
Detroit.
Scott are in New York. So we fly back and forth for rehearsals and everything. What has to be, I guess. But so we did it. We finished recording the EP and everything, and then we did some shows, and then we put out a live album. And basically what we did is took the songs from the first two albums. We wanted to kind of maybe like revamp some of the songs, but then we were like, no, those albums are made. Let's just leave them. We'll do a live album with Scott, because Scott kills all those songs.
Sure.
It's like
He sure does.
it's how do I explain it? It's almost like the story that you said when you went to the Dictators. Like, you changed the whole band.
Yeah. I didn't. The only thing I knew of the Dictators was the first album, the Go Girl Crazy.
Right.
And I knew it was a very tongue-in-cheek New York album. Certainly the songs were great, but it was very punk rock.
Right.
Punk rock sounding, which I wasn't into at the time. But when I went to audition, I just did Mendoza on the songs.
That was enough for them to say, you know what?
Oh, you know what? We're going to do some different stuff here. So
Yeah, so that's-
changed the sound of to the band.
That's what happened. So they well, we can't redo the first two albums. Let's just put out a live album from some of the shows that we've done. We did some shows in Detroit,
Sure.
Ohio, and everything. We made a compilation on the live songs for this album, and it's all Scott singing all the songs. So we put that out, and then. Things like everyone got also sidetracked in that decision. Are we going to continue and go? We got picked up by Roar, Rock of Angels record label over in Greece.
Sure.
So they picked us up, and they're distributing the album and everything, and it's doing pretty good on the sales. But for booking, we were like, let's see where this goes with the album and see where we could play. So we're just doing a couple of one-offs with Reverence right now, and plus I'm busy with the D thing.
Yeah, of course.
And Scott's got a whole bunch of other stuff's going on. So it's going to be hard to actually commit to certain dates.
Sure.
But we figured, you know what, let's play New York. It's our stomping grounds, and Brian and Paul came here, and last year, and they enjoyed it. So
There are actually a couple of guys who are driving here right now.
They're driving here right now.
They're probably trying to listen to this. Crap.
Yeah, I know. They might be stuck in Jersey with, with Michigan plates.
Yeah, they can't get their passport stamped in New Jersey.
Don't even get me started with passports.
Yeah, exactly. We won't even go there with you and your passport.
Yeah. So anyway, so we're doing that show and everything.
Okay, that's good. And that show is this weekend, this Saturday night.
That's this weekend
at Revolution in Amityville.
At Revolution in Amityville, yes.
Okay,
and there's going to be quite a few other local bands that are Dina D, as with Tom Cavanaugh.
Yeah, with Tom Cavanaugh.
The Sevenless, which is a great band.
Great band.
And
fantastic. Dina's amazing vocalist.
Yeah.
And Tom's a great guitar player. They write great songs together.
Right.
Before we get off of the band, you have a unique setup with drummers.
Yeah.
The current drummer in the band is Rob Matheson.
He's the touring
He's the
drummer.
touring drummer. But you have the studio drummer, right? Who is Steve Dr. Killdrums Wackles. Wackles.
Yes, he's the original drummer for Sabotage.
Right, the original drummer for Sabotage.
Yes.
And he just can't go away because he has a business, and I think he has
He has a child with disability that he has to be
he has to be around, which is very. I commend him for that.
Yeah.
Devoting his time and energy to making sure that his child is comfortable with the disabilities. But Steve is a gun store owner.
He owns a gun store.
He owns a gun store. So if you're anywhere near Marble, North Carolina, North Carolina, go see Cherokee Guns.
Yeah.
Right? How's that? See that, Steve? We're giving you a little plug here, all right? Because you're stuck home, you can't come out. We feel for you, but yeah. So if you're in the area of Marble, North Carolina, and I'm sure if you're from the area, you know where Marble is.
Yeah.
Because I got no marbles. And it's Cherokee Guns. That's Steve's business
I'd actually
right then and there.
like to do a road trip one day just to go down there and check it out.
Well, maybe we'll do that.
Yeah.
You and I will jump in a car and probably get arrested by the time we get through Jersey.
That's the one thing about these guys too. Even Brian and Paul, they're gun fanatics. And when I go to rehearsals over in Detroit, the next day when we have an off day, we're out. Brian's got land for miles.
Yeah.
And we just take
you do the Ted Nugent thing, huh?
We do the Ted Nugent thing. I got me shooting like this gun. I look like Rambo. I'm like, don't even know how to work it.
Now you're scary with a gun.
I'm shooting dirt, I'm like, I don't even know what I've probably killed like 9 deers and I don't even know it.
Are you good with telling us the websites and the Facebook pages and everything for the bands?
I think it's
just look for Reverence.
It's Reverence Metal, I think to
Right, Reverence Metal.
Yeah, reverencemetal.com.
I got to tell you that, right?
You have to tell me that,
To go on the website, go on the Facebook, right? You have a Facebook page.
There's a Facebook page.
Same thing.
Reverence.
Go on Facebook,
There's an
check out.
Instagram. There's a Twitter.
Maybe they'll be playing at a city near you.
Yeah.
Everybody out there, not him, but looking at the camera.
I need a fill-in for this band if they go out. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It won't be me.
No.
I'm too busy myself.
I think the guy from Halloween.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's going to play bass for you when you go out with D?
He's got it. He played a funny trick on me and Scott once when we was in Detroit. We got to the venue late, and we were going to where's the dressing room, and then they took the sign with our name on it, and he put it on the broom closet. And he's like, "Yeah, it's over there." So I mean, there's actually footage of it, and he'll probably send it to me. And we walked in there, and I'm walking in, and I'm like, "There's brooms and buckets and like a slop sink." I looked down, I'm like that, and they're like, "Ah!" They did the whole thing like you.
Oh, funny guys in rock and roll.
Oh yeah.
Yes, whatever.
Scott was like, "This is not bad."
Yeah, it's not bad. We'll stay
got a mirror.
We'll stay in the slop sink. That's what we'll do. There's a sink and a bathroom in the same place.
Yeah, exactly.
And a toilet in the same place. Russell,
yes,
great having you on. Remember, everybody go see Reverence. If you're in the Long Island area, go see Reverence Saturday night at Revolution.
Yes.
Down on corner of Route 110 and Merrick Road in Amityville, right?
Correct.
It's a Montauk Highway.
It's Merrick Road.
It's Merrick Road at that point. Merrick Road in Amityville. Check out Reverence there that night. Also, check out the D. Snyder, because Russell's playing with D.
Yes.
And I always push these things, and don't forget to check out D's album for The Love of Metal, which is great.
Yeah.
And they're doing good things. So anything they play, go up and say hello to Russell and tell him you feel sorry for him, that he's my friend. So that's a good thing to do. Things like that. Push it all. I've got Animal Tactics coming out.
Yes, you do.
A couple of past bandmates of yours, the Canada brothers, with Jordan and Jared
Great
Canada.
players.
And great players. Great good guys, good friends. That's coming around soon, so I want everybody to watch for that. But what we're going to leave everybody with is a very quick Dwayne story.
Uh-oh.
Okay, very quick Dwayne story.
There's like about 400 of them.
No, well, this is a quick one. It's not going to take long.
I don't know if there's a quick one.
And I don't think I said this when Joe Gerber was on the show at any point.
I'm surprised Joe didn't. Did any response from Joe on there? Or?
Any response
glass,
from Joe Gerber?
Phallic glass symbols?
No updates.
What's that?
No updates.
Okay. So in any case,
he's fixing his moped right now.
he's using his moped.
He's putting new spark plugs in.
New spark plugs. I don't think so. They're real old. The electrodes are worn away.
They don't even take it.
Exactly.
Got a
So anyway,
engine.
I was Dwayne's 50th birthday. We're touring. We've been going back and forth to Europe every summer. We only played weekends. So it usually was every other weekend we go to Europe and play a couple of shows. So Dwayne tells us at the beginning of the season, listen, there's one bunch of shows that one weekend that I can't make it. It's my 50th birthday, and my family, my brothers and my family are having a surprise party for me. Don't say anything yet. So, okay, Dwayne. He goes, I won't be able to go with you guys. All right, well, we'll get someone else. It's not a problem. It's your 50th birthday. But why do you know about it if it's a surprise party? He goes, well, they had to tell me because otherwise I'd go away with the band, with Twisted Sister. And I go, well, then it's not a surprise. He goes, well, yeah, it is, because I'm not supposed to know. But they told you, did they not? Yeah. So then you know. He goes, well, I'm not supposed to know. So you got to see where this is going, right? So it gets better.
Cannot be logical with him.
Am I right? Does it not go this way?
Absolutely right.
No, but it is a surprise party. No, it's not a surprise party if you know. If you found out by mistake or someone slipped, but they purposely told you. Yes, because they know I would have been away, but it's still a surprise party. Okay, Dwayne, we're going to stick with that. It's a surprise party. So anyway, we go away that weekend. I don't know, I think it was in July or something like that. We go away that weekend and we come home, and now the following weekend we're going away and we're all in the airport together and getting ready to board the flight. And so I go to Dwayne, I go, Dwayne, how was your surprise party? He goes, oh, it was horrible. It was a surprise party, but yet they kept calling me and asking me, where do we get the soda? Where do we get the food? He goes, but it's my birthday. Why do I have to do all this? He goes, so I had to work and do all this stuff. And they kept getting me mad, and I kept getting more pissed off at them because it's my surprise party. It's a surprise birthday party. I'm not supposed to work. I'm supposed to just be there, and they're supposed to say happy birthday to me.
Right.
I said, did they? He goes, yes. I said, so what was the problem then? He goes, well, they got me so pissed off. Here comes the punchline. They got me so pissed off that I had to leave before I got there. There was dead silence from everybody on the crew in the band. And I'm standing there talking to Dwayne. I'm sitting next to him, actually sitting. And I go, Dwayne, let's roll this back. Okay, we'll press play again. What was that line? He goes, well, they pissed me off so much that I had to leave before I got there. Now, you want to tell all of us here, Dwayne, how do you leave before you get somewhere? He goes, well, it may not make sense to you, but it makes sense to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're dealing with there. So Dwayne left before he got there.
It's called Dwayneology.
Yeah, Dwayneology.
Dwayneology.
You've heard of Rosetta Stone, the language thing? Well, we have Lazada.
There's such terms as it's not the flame that's hot, it's the heat.
It's not the flame that's hot, it's the heat. That comes from that boy. So I had to leave before I got there, is the term. How do you do that? He goes, well, I had to. Well, how do you do that? He goes, well, I just had to. Can you explain it? We goes, it makes sense to me. All right, then we'll leave it at just at that. And
he goes, all I know is I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. It makes sense to me. Well, that's great.
It makes sense
Nobody.
to me.
And now there's other people who have nothing to do with us in the area, and they're laughing too. They're crying. They're really laughing.
There's actually a bunch of statements or lines that he made that we were writing down after a while.
I think we kept record of some of the things that he's come up with. He's like Yogi Berra of rock and roll.
It was, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, there was a couple of times I think when we're not even on tour, and I'm just sitting with him.
Oh yeah,
and I'll text you and JJ.
Yeah.
I'll be like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost worth telling a couple of Dwayne stories for everybody to enjoy. So, quite a few years ago, Dwayne joins an AC/DC tribute band.
Yeah.
Right? You remember this story? I don't think you were there that night. What was the place in Bethpage that everybody played? Whoville? Whoville.
Yes.
So, they already know where I'm going with this. So, he begs me to come down to see the show. I mean, you got to come down. Like, you know what, Dwayne? I got so many more things to do. I got so much going on. But how do you say no to Dwayne?
Yeah, I know.
You love the guy. He's like the best little pet you've ever had. So I go down there with a bunch of friends, and I'm hanging around. There was a band before them that was good. I don't remember what they were playing, but they were pretty good. They were nice guys, and so Dwayne comes up to me. It's like 10 minutes before they're going on.
Yeah.
Dwayne comes up to me and says, the guys in the band want you to play a few songs with them. I said, Dwayne, I'm off. He goes, but I know you like AC/DC and you know all their stuff. I said, yeah, of course. It's not tough to play, but I do know AC/DC. So he goes, they really want you to open up the show. Come on, Dwayne.
I was there.
Oh, you were there for this
I
one?
was there.
All right, so...
'Cause I'm trying to remember, like,
So
they had to stay, yeah.
Yeah, right. So, come on. And everybody around me's going, come on, man, be a sport.
Because we
Go
were on the
play with them."
side. We're on the
Yeah,
sidelines.
exactly. On the sidelines. So, really? I'm off duty tonight, man. I'm just here in the audience, just hanging. Okay, all right. So, I'll go up and play the first 2 songs. He goes, first 3 songs. Okay, where's the set list? He goes, it'll be there on the ground. He goes, you know all the songs. Yeah, I do. I said, 3 songs, and that's it.
You knew what you were getting reeled into.
Well, I didn't know what I was getting reeled into. So, okay, I walk over the side of the stage. I don't know where Dwayne is, but his bass is sitting there, so I pick it up and I tune it, and I'm ready. And the guys in the band go, oh, this is great, man. We got Mark Mendoza with us. We're taking Dwayne's place. It's great. All right. Start the music to the first song, and I think it was Highway to Hell or something, and we go into the song, and the lights come on, and everybody's, yeah, AC/DC. So it goes on. I do the first song, I do the second song, I do the third song. They take a quick break. The singer's talking to the audience for a moment, and I'm looking around for Dwayne. No, Dwayne. How am I going to walk off the stage and leave these guys? So I yelled to one of the guys in the crew, go find Dwayne and get his ass up here, because I played 3
He's already
songs.
on his way home.
I'm done. No, he didn't go home.
Oh, no, I know.
He didn't go home. So they can't find him. He's not in the club. They're looking. All right. I actually played the whole set with the band, if you remember.
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
45 minutes. Played every AC/DC song that I know. And some that I never even heard of, and I like AC/DC. So, all right, thank you, good night. All right, we get off stage, and I put the bass down. I was going to smash it, and I didn't, because I have more respect for the instrument than I do for him. So I put it in the stand. I'm soaked in sweat, right? So you're playing the show for 45 minutes in that little club, and I think they turned the heat on to make you drink more beer.
Probably.
Or something. So I walk out back, and there I see a guy flipping burgers, right? He's got the huge chef hat on.
Right.
It's Dwayne. He sees me charging for him, and he drops everything. Just runs, man. He runs. He finds the smallest spot to get through the fence, the back of Whoville, right? You get to the wooden fence, and I just see little puffs of smoke coming off his feet, and he's gone. He knew I was going to kill him. I was going to kill him.
He ran away like Midas.
Didn't speak to him. I didn't have a chance to speak to him for a couple of weeks. And finally, we're going away again, right? We all meet up, and he's just doesn't want to see me. He's in the airport hiding. So I'm hiding behind a pillar, and he looks around, he doesn't see me, and then he comes over to join the guys in the band, and he's standing there talking to D, and D is trying to remain cool, looking up, and there I am standing right behind Dwayne with my arms folded, and he tries to run, and I grab him. I go, you little son of a bitch, I'm going to take you apart now, that's it. No, man, no, you don't understand. His big line is, you don't understand.
Yeah.
No, you don't understand. No, you don't understand. Okay, I did not come out to work that night.
Yeah.
You don't understand. I don't know AC/DC songs, and I never practiced them. I couldn't play a single song. That's what he said.
I knew it.
This is Dwayne.
Yeah.
This is Dwayne. So that's why I don't show up to any of his gigs.
Right.
Because somehow I'm going to get stuck playing if I happen to anywhere remotely know what band he's playing.
Yeah.
I never gave him a second chance at that, so I never show up for him.
Oh,
or
my God.
I have shown up and stood way in the back where you can't see me till the end of the night. Thank you, good night. Hey, Dwayne, here I am. So that's it. Am I boring you? You're already
No. I'm my face is cracking from smiling.
Oh yeah. These are the Dwayne stories.
I think of him and I start laughing.
And there's thousands of them.
I talked to him. I just talked to him tonight, and
I've talked to him a couple of weeks.
Before
no great loss.
Before we left.
Actually, no.
We did the cruise before we left the cruise.
Right.
And before
talking about D. Snyder's
yes.
cruise. Yeah.
And before I left the cruise, and before we went, actually after we left the cruise, before we went to had to go to South America before all that crap happened. South America needed an itemized list of what you're bringing.
Right.
So I have a endorsement from My Star Cable.
Right.
So they had made me a bunch of cables, and I had put them on the itinerary that I was bringing them over there. But they didn't make it to my house in time, so I had to have them reroute it and deliver it to the hotel we were staying in. When we got back from the cruise.
Right.
So they came in and I got them. I got this big box, but I'm like, shit, I can't take these with me because it's just too much.
Right.
So I said, Dwayne, I'm only going to take what I need. They're monogrammed, they put my name on it.
Sure, of course.
They're green, I mean, like these aren't cables that you can lose. You look at them, you're like, oh, those are the cables. So I said, Dwayne, you're going back. You're not going to South America. So take these cables for me, and I'll pick them up. So he's like, all right. So he's teching for me for the Reverend show. He's I know.
This weekend?
Yeah.
But you really want to suffer, don't you?
He could, as long as he knows just enough to get a little trouble. So
He knows nothing.
Yeah. So I'm talking to him tonight, and he's like, we're just going over it. And I said, I said, Dwayne,
my cables.
You got my cables. Just bring them. He goes, what cables?
Yeah. How did I know he was going to say that? What cables?
I'm like, the cables I gave you before you left. Oh, I don't know what bag they went in. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know what bag they went in? I thought you put them in a plastic bag and you were supposed to take them in your suitcase because you went back to New York while we had to go to South America because you weren't going there. He's like, nah, I think I put them in another bag. I'm like, why would you do that when I told you everything's itemized and everything? He was like, oh, I gotta look. I'll see if I can find them. I'm like, what do you mean? You don't remember taking 50 pounds of cables with you and putting them somewhere? It was only 4 weeks ago. It's like, well, I'll look for it and I'll let you know. I'm like, oh no. So I don't know if these cables are floating in the ocean somewhere. Or...
He still hasn't come up with them.
No.
That's typical of Dwayne.
All these, and it was hell getting those cables because they went to, where did I get them? Oh, I had them sent to Texas. That's right, because we did a show in Texas, and I was like, all right, send the cables to Texas, and I'll take them with me to the cruise.
Right.
I'll hold on to them for the cruise, and when we leave, you take them back, because he did the cruise with us. So, and that was the last thing that's the last time I saw the cables. So I only have I ordered about maybe 50 cables, and I have 3 of them.
Yeah, 3 of them. That's Dwayne.
Wow.
I mean, whenever we toured, and you'd say to Dwayne, like, Dwayne, where's my wireless? Where's my transmitters? I don't know. Well, you're responsible for them. Yeah, but I don't know where they are. That's what he said.
He's honest about it.
Well, they're supposed to go in the same box. Yeah, I don't know where they are. We'll go look for them. How am I going to find them if I don't know where they are? Start opening some cases and look for them.
These conversations with him just go in circles.
It just goes nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't. Well,
You just should skip the conversation and just go right to wringing his neck.
Right. Just start opening some Pelican cases and look for the stuff. I don't know which one to open. It's not like there's 200 of them, Wayne. There's probably 8 or 10 of them. Start looking for these things. I need them. We'll find them when we do the show. Now, I'm not waiting that long. Find a wireless, or whatever it was. So he would lose stuff like crazy.
That's his way of saying, like, oh shit, I forgot where I put it.
Oh shit, forgot that I even had it.
Yeah, so I'm using him for the show. Even though last year when he came out to fix something on my amp and he ran back, his foot got caught in the kick drum mic hole and he took the set with him. Yeah,
I heard about that.
How's that possible?
What's that?
He's asking how something possible is with Dwayne.
It's Dwayne. So you never ask how is it possible because he makes
You
it.
step backwards and get your foot stuck in the hole.
He ran across. It's on film too. He adjusted something on my amp. Something went out. He fixed it. Okay, and then he wanted to run off the stage. As he's running, this part of his foot goes into the mic hole where the hole is for the kick drum, and he gets stuck and he pulls the drums with him.
And why do we keep this guy around? And Russell is bringing him on the show on Saturday night. So you want to see the comedy part of the show? Just watch Dwayne. And watch Russell get mad.
I don't know. I get mad for a second, but then I'm like, I gotta laugh.
Yeah.
It's just like, ridiculous.
Anyway, Russell, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me
We will
on.
have you again soon in the near
Yeah.
future. Discuss some more stuff that's going on. Remember, everybody, check out Dee Snider's run with Russell and the band, and check out For the Love of Metal.
For the Love of Metal.
Great album. Check out Reverence.
The
Russell's
new album,
band, Reverence, the new
so
album.
The live album is
Yeah.
Vengeance is Live.
Right, and a great album, a great CD. I have it already. You
Yes,
gave me an advance
you got
copy,
it.
and it really is fantastic. And maybe at one point we'll have the guys in the band on the show.
Yeah.
Once we get the other show going, the
Absolutely,
other Animal
we'll come on.
Tactics show, the music show, we'll bring the guys on, and maybe we'll get some videos or something playing on it.
Sure.
And stuff. And, you know, one of my favorite bands ever that is currently, they're all alive and playing, the Winery Dogs. They're playing next week in New York City.
Oh, cool.
You know, I got to talk to Mike Portnoy about it, but check out the Winery Dogs. I love them, and we'll probably all end up going to see
Billy's
them.
going to be. I hung out with Billy in
Billy's a great guy.
Sweden.
Billy
Yeah.
Sheehan, you're talking
Billy
about.
Sheehan,
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah, he is a great
Billy's
guy.
great, and an amazing, phenomenal bass player. But check out the Winery Dogs next weekend, and you know, Animal Tactics is not playing yet, but soon. We're still working on everything with the
gonna
Canada
be
brothers,
good.
and it's going to be great stuff. But and then you know, just stay tuned to the Comedy Channel. You'll see Dwayne screwing things up. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in tonight.
He should be your next guest.
Yeah, well, he's going to come on one of these days.
What did no? I'm sorry. I know you.
It's tough to get him on
I
here.
know
He doesn't
you. I
wanna
know
do
you
it.
want to go, but what did his? You know it probably better than I do.
What's that?
When he got the interview, when they were doing the interviews,
Oh, there was
and they asked him
a few years ago. They were doing interviews for a crew member, a roadie movie.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think it ever came out.
No.
But they asked him because he worked for Twisted Sister. This is before you were on.
Yeah, it was before I.
So I think
His
it was
answer is
George Marshall that
priceless.
got him the. I think it was actually George, and they got him the interview. And of course, he's sitting in a chair, and the person interviewing him was off camera, asking him questions.
Right.
So you know, what's your name? What do you do? And blah 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 blah. So you know, who do you work for? Well, I work for Twisted Sister. What do you do for Twisted Sister? Well, I'm Mark Mendoza's bass tech. How do you like your job? He goes, it has nothing to do with me liking my job. I'm just really not good at it. I'm not good at doing that. So he yells at me all the time. That's what he says. I saw the footage. It was incredible. It really was.
Oh,
That's Dwayne. The whole show turns into things about Dwayne.
yeah.
But anyway, all right, so check out everything I did tell you to check out, too. We appreciate you tuning in. I hope everybody likes everything they see and hear. And if you don't, we really don't care. All right? Actually, we do. But in any case, thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and tune in again next week, same time, for another great edition of 22 Now on Area 22. So everybody have a good night. Wave good night, Russell.
Good night.